Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Revs on Retreat. We did get kind of lost between Advent, Christmas, and the flu. But we are glad to be here to kind of wrap up our midwinter exploration and let you know what's been happening with us. And we look forward always to getting feedback from you.
Yes.
One of the things that we both discovered and were struck by is that we spent all this time in Advent, 4 weeks in a row, very focused.
We had our word for each week.
We had our words for each week, and it was just fine and dandy. Except that at the very end, all of the writers we were following just kind of like ended. Christmas is it. That's it. Done and dusted. It's over. No more resources in the same way. Now, of course, there are always resources, but what struck us was that suddenness, which seems just exactly what the culture does. And that made us start to think about the value of the seasons, whatever kind of seasons they are, and the reality of our lives. We're waiting for something in Advent, and Christmas Day came, and we didn't have the answer to our waiting questions. Or in my case, I went on into enjoying the days of Christmas, got very sick, and felt very much as though I was in the middle of nowhere. And it's a very clear season of Christmas, 12 days. And now here we are in Epiphany. But before we spend a lot of time on Epiphany, we just wanted to talk a little bit about the unreality
yes.
of boom, boom, done and dusted. And,
right.
It's a feeling in which I was reminded that the Christian year is just a social construct, a good one, a helpful one for the spiritual life, but life doesn't follow it neatly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Even though, I liked what we talked about earlier, preparing for this, when you said that the spiral, of liturgical seasons goes on, and every time we hit a certain season, whether it's Advent or Epiphany or Lent or even ordinary time, the season is the same, but what we get out of it changes.
Right, because if we're practicing an active spiritual life, then we are different people every Christmas, every Easter.
Yes.
And it does, it's never over. It's a cycle. It's a life cycle. But that is not, it's very difficult to grasp a hold of that. But it's not a bad thing.
Yes, right.
Because
it could feel
feels,
like you also. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, absolutely.
It could feel a bit treadmill-ish, like you said before. Like it's never going to be over. We're just going to do this again and again and again. But until we shuffle off this mortal coil, isn't that like the? But like you're saying, there is actually hope and value in working your way through this spiral. Maybe that's why people enjoy labyrinths so much. Working your way through the spiral, knowing that you will receive something different each time.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just going to move on to the next thing, if that's all right, which is, you said something about getting lost at the end of Advent. And
I was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I heard that, I got an image in my mind of a rope. And it reminded me of, well, two things. First, sometimes you see when you're out and about a class of young children who are taking a walk on recess from school, and the teacher is holding the front of the rope and someone's holding the back, but all the kids have to keep a hand on the rope at all times so that nobody wanders off and gets lost or gets in trouble or gets, does anything dangerous. So that's a good image for me, because it means that we move forward in community.
Yeah. Right.
We move forward.
Yes.
Period. We,
even if we're reluctant,
right.
There's something we're holding on to that helps us make that next step. Next step.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the other way that I was thinking about the rope was, when I was young, I really enjoyed the books of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and one thing that was amazing to me that was described was how there was, in the winter, there was a rope between the house and the barn, so that when there were terrible snowstorms, no one would wander away from the path and would make it where they were going, as long as they kept a hand on the rope.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think that during these especially dark times that we're experiencing, the knowledge that there's a rope, we can keep a hand on the rope,
right,
and that we will not be the only one doing that we will be stepping forward with our class or our, or toward our barn or
right,
whatever the image is that works for you, but that rope is there, and it's a secure thing.
Yeah. And that made me also think about the other image that worked for me. You might notice behind us there's a little lantern flickering that was a gift to us from one of our women's group
Participants,
members. And everybody in the group got one, and as a reminder that we're the light for one another. And that was, here we are now bringing that out at Epiphany, because when I was feeling physically sick, but also in this lost place where everything is cut and dried and Christmas is over and Advent's done waiting for, let's just move on. And I can't move on. I mean, I'm stuck in that place. Mostly because of the political darkness that is alive in our world today. But for me, that I came across a reminder that the next season is Epiphany. And even if I'm holding on to a rope, going with a community through that, I may not know where the path is leading me, but I can trust that the leaders and the people I walk with are guided by a light. And that's the theme of Epiphany. That,
sure.
I feel like I have to just keep moving forward, but sometimes I have to sit down and rest, gather my senses, get back onto the rope, holding on to my community, all of the different kinds of community that we have, before I can step out into the dark, but watching for the light. Because I've discovered, I've actually been practicing this since I got this whole sense of lostness in the middle of nowhere. I had been logging moments of light, and that's been a great practice for me, because it has taught me that when I'm feeling at my lowest and my emptiest, it's there. I just have to make space for it and watch for it. It's a good practice for me, one step at a time,
Do you do that in the form of like an examen at the end of the day, and you look through your day and find places?
No,
or how do you do
I
that?
try to do it first thing in the morning, just to remind myself that that's what I'm looking for today. I'm going to look for the light, because the world is giving me darkness.
Yes.
And so I have to practice looking for the light.
So
and
you
so
set yourself up
I set
for
myself
it.
up for it. And for example, I don't have my that journal right here, but I was feeling very low this morning, and overwhelmed, and I went for an errand and got thwarted, and it was a friggin' light here, you know, but the second stop had what I needed and was given to me with grace. And it was just by a shopkeeper. And so I came home and I sat down and I said, I'm overwhelmed, but the dark isn't as deep as it was an hour ago when I left on those errands, you know. So you all find your own way to practice that. I had one time in my life, I had a little book about this size, with an attached pencil, and every time I would just put a mark in that on a page when I came across a piece of beauty, and then I couldn't remember what they all were by the end of the day, but I knew I had seen beauty that day. So I mean, you figure it out for yourselves,
right.
But the key for me is find your rope and watch for the light.
Yes. So it has been a real pleasure to make these videos for you.
Yeah.
We get a lot out of them ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you for being willing to watch and listen, and give us feedback. That's great and important. And we look forward to being with you again soon. Going to take a break of a couple of months to regenerate and resurrect and all those good words.
Right.
But we will be back with you. So blessings on your days and weeks, and may you feel God's love.
Amen.